ಎನ್ನ ಕಾಲೇ ಕಂಬ ದೇಹವೇ ದೇಗುಲ ಶಿರವೇ ಹೊನ್ನ ಕಳಸವಯ್ಯ ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು. ನಾನೇನ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಬಡವನಯ್ಯ ನಾನೇನ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಬಡವನಯ್ಯ ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು. ಸ್ಥಾವರ ಕಳಿವುಂಟು ಜಂಗಮ ಕಳಿವಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಥಾವರ ಕಳಿವುಂಟು ಜಂಗಮ ಕಳಿವಿಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡಲ ಸಂಗಮ ದೇವಾ ಕೇಳಯ್ಯ ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು ಉಳ್ಳವರು ಶಿವಾಲಯ ಮಾಡುವರು. So with this Basavana's Vachana we will start today the chemical reactions and equations. Welcome back all of you. The first lesson in chemistry, you know that very important lesson it is. So before we move on to the chemical reactions, at least in the 10th standard you people are studying now, at least 10 or 20 or 30 elements you should know. Why? Because see here you are doing the chemical reactions, so at least 30 chemicals you should know. So let me write very fastly: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, okay, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, so up to 10, okay, sodium, magnesium, then aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, okay, sulfur, chlorine, next argon, next potassium and calcium, 20. So scandium, titanium, hardest metal, you know that, vanadium, chromium, manganese, okay, and king of metal, that is ferrum, cobalt, nickel and copper, zinc. So 118 elements are there, those all are chemicals only, you know that. So you are studying in 10th standard, at least 30 elements you should be very familiar, so that you will study the chemistry very easily. That's why, so at least 30 elements, you take a number for this 1, 2, 3 like that up to 10 and up to 20, these are in serial. I know you have already studied some elements, but I have seen that so many students are even lack in this matter, that's why I just reminded this thing. So please take this one, at least 30, it is there even in the last chapter of chemistry, that is periodic classification of elements, okay, there also it is required, and entire all the 5 chemistry chapters needed these minimum 30 elements to be remembered, that's why I am giving these things, okay. So what are these all things? Of course these are the chemicals, okay. Suppose if you take a carbon, see here, carbon when it reacts with the oxygen gives a carbon dioxide, and you are saying, sir, this is a chemical reaction, okay. And you take a hydrogen, H2 plus O2, it gives 2H2O, and you are saying, yes, it is a chemical reaction. See how these elements are helping you to study this chemical reaction, isn't it? That's why I am telling you, please be thorough with at least, please by heart this at least 30 elements. Understood? Okay then. So I have written 2 chemical reactions. Sir, what is this? Simply I will take one more chemical reaction. I will take a water, as we already studied it in the metals and non-metals also. When a sodium metal reacts with the water, see, it gives a sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas, right? So you see here, these all things you will call it as a chemical reaction. Then let me come to the definition of chemical reaction. So what are chemical reactions? Very simple. See, the chemicals are undergoing a process giving a new product or a new substance. Understood? So that means here the atoms are not changing. Simply the rearrangement of atoms is going on and giving a entirely new product which is having a new property. Understood? That's why what is chemical reaction? If a question comes, simply you say it's a process where chemicals undergo and give a entirely new product with a new property. Okay then. So definition, I think you people have taken it down, and see here, in the chemical reactions, the chemicals which are participating, those chemicals are called as reactants. And a new substance which is going to form, which is having an entirely new property, that is called as product. Okay, that is called as product. Understood? What are these things? Reactants. What is this? A product. Okay, reactants and product. What are reactions? Chemicals which are undergoing or which are participating in a chemical reaction, those are called reactants. Always we write these chemical reactants in the left side, whereas we will write the product in right side, and whenever chemical reaction takes place, that we will show with the arrow mark, and when chemical reactants mixes, that we show here with a plus mark. Okay, all right. So then I will come to a very important point. I will rub it. I think you people have understood the value of these elements. Simply see here, a carbon, I am writing in word, carbon reacts with oxygen giving a carbon dioxide. See how much time it has taken. It has taken too much of time. Am I right? Yes. So if you write the chemical reactions in word form, of course it is a chemical reaction, I agree, but if you write it in a word form, it will take more time. That's why I will come to the next point of this heading, equations. Equations means there is a very much hot here. Still I want to reach you people. That's why I am doing this video to you people. Okay. So chemical reactions, this is a chemical reaction, I agree, but I have written it in the word form, right? If I write it in a symbolical form, carbon reacts with oxygen, gives carbon dioxide, this itself is a chemical equations. Then can you make a definition on this? Yes, of course, very easy, no? See here, a chemical reaction, if you represent it in a symbolical way, okay, that is called as chemical equation. Symbolic representation of or mathematical representation of chemical reaction is called as chemical equations. Okay, chemical equations. See, I am doing some more thing here. What I am doing here, even you just compare the above chemical reaction and this also this chemical reaction also. Both are chemical reaction, whereas this I have written it in the word form, this I have written it in the equation form, symbol form. Okay, see which one is giving more information to you? Of course this one. Why? Sir, you will say, sir, carbon is in solid form, oxygen is in gaseous form, and when it burns, it gives a carbon dioxide, and you had shown it a upward arrow mark, that means that is a gas, right? See, you are getting more information and it takes less time also, right? The advantage of chemical equations, I am telling you, it will take less time, gives you more information, and gives you especially how many reactants are involving or participating in a chemical reaction and how many products you are getting. These all information will be given by chemical equation only. The same chemical reaction, if you write it in a word form, it will take a more time, and along with that, it will not give so many informations. Am I right? Okay then. So I think you people come to know what are chemical equations. It is very simple, that symbolic representation of chemical reaction is called as chemical equation. Okay then. So if so, If so, someone will say then, sir, how do you come to know? How do you come to know that the chemical reaction is taken place? Okay. So before that, I tell you just now I had written a carbon, when it reacts with the oxygen, it will give a carbon dioxide. Or you know that when you take a magnesium ribbon and burn it in the atmosphere with the air, you will get magnesium oxide. Okay. We will do the experiment on it. Okay, I will send you the separate video on that. Here, before you burn this, you have to brush, you have to rub the magnesium ribbon with the sandpaper. Why? Because a light oxide layer will be deposited over this. That's why that prevents the combustion of magnesium. That's why we have to rub it, we have to remove that. Okay, all right. See here. You are reading now, magnesium reacts with oxygen giving a magnesium oxide, carbon reacts with the oxygen giving a carbon dioxide, sodium reacting with the water giving a sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. See, you people are reading these equations, am I right? So if you people are reading this equation, that means these are all the languages of chemistry. Okay, that's why I told you the importance of elements. So at least 30 elements you should buy at one more time. I am punching this. Okay, you people are reading in the sense this is the language of chemistry. We call this is the language of chemistry. Okay, so in chemical equations, as I told you, to make it more informative, we will simply say the states of a reactant, states of a product, as we already discussed, and some catalyst what we use here to carry out the reactions. Everything will be explained by this. That's why chemical equations are more informative. Okay then. So just as I discussed, how do you come to know that the chemical reaction has taken place? There are some characteristics information that gives us that yes, the chemical reaction has taken place. The first characteristics I will tell you, evolution of gas. Evolution of gas. Second one, change in color. Change in color. Okay. Third one, change in temperature. Change in temperature. Okay. Fourth one, precipitation formation. PPT formation. Okay. Formation. Fifth one, change in state. Change in state. Sir, if you say like this, we cannot understand. Without the example, we cannot understand. Okay, then we will take an example one by one for these all characteristics of chemical reactions. If a chemical reaction is going on, then there if you find these characteristics, that means evolution of gas and change in color and change in temperature, precipitation formation, and that means a insoluble solid which is present in the solution, that is we call it as a precipitation. Change in state. Okay, we will take at least one example for these all the characteristics of chemical reactions. Suppose if you take a zinc, if you take a zinc granules and put a dilute hydrochloric acid in this, okay, you will see there will be evolution of gas, I agree, but if you touch this, you will feel a hot. That means change in temperature and evolution of gas, as we already seeing here. Okay, and one more thing, suppose if you burn the carbon in presence of oxygen, you will get a carbon dioxide. See, evolution of gas once again. Okay, like this evolution of gases, you can see so many examples. First and second I have given you here, and like this so many examples you can see. I will go to the next one, that is change in color. Okay, change in color, you take a potassium iodide in a beaker, beaker, and add a lead nitrate to it, you will get both are colorless substances. So you will see here, you will get a potassium iodide, potassium nitrate KNO3 plus PbI2. This PbI2, which is which forms the both reactants are colorless. When these two mixes, then you will get a lead iodide which is yellow in color. Okay, see, change in color you will find. One more example I will give you. If you take a potassium permanganate, KMnO4 solution, and simply add 1 or 2 drops of lemon juice in it, citric acid in it, that turns its color from the purple to the colorless. And even if you take the potassium dichromate solution, K2Cr2, potassium dichromate solution O7, if you take this solution, it will be orange in color, and simply pass the sulfur dioxide in it, so the orange color turns into the light green color. See, like this we can see so many changes of color in a chemical reaction. If you find this, if you see this, then you will say, yes sir, chemical reaction has taken place. So these two things we have finished, and change in temperature also, as we just discussed that. So if you take barium hydroxide, BaOH twice, okay, and when it reacts with the ammonium chloride, then you will see barium chloride and ammonia and water is going to form in a beaker, and if you touch this beaker, so you feel cold. See, change in temperature, you feel cold. That means here when chemical reaction takes place, then when you touch it, you feel cold, means there will be a change in temperature. Like that, in the first example also I told you, when zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid or H2SO, for anything you take zinc chloride, and hydrogen gas will be liberated, and this will be giving out a temperature. Okay, that means heat it will give out. It gives out a heat. Temperature in the sense I mean heat it gives out. Whereas here the reaction, taken the heat, the reactants have taken the heat, and there will be a decrease in the temperature, there is a fall down in the temperature in this reaction, whereas here it gives out the heat. And such reactions you call it as a exothermic, and these reactions you call it as a endothermic reactions. Okay, so this is what change in temperature you can observe. And precipitation formation, in that PPT, as I told you, suppose if you take some examples, I will tell you, just as I told you, when a potassium iodide reacts with the PbNO3 twice, it gives 2 Ki potassium iodide, and it gives potassium nitrate and lead iodide. The lead iodide, which is an insoluble yellow color, which remains on the solution. Like this, it forms the precipitation. Even you can take calcium hydroxide and pass a carbon dioxide in it, it forms the calcium carbonate. This is a precipitation, calcium carbonate and water. See, like this it forms the precipitation, PPT, a insoluble substance it will form. So then you can say, yes sir, chemical reaction has taken place. And very common one more example I will tell you about the change in state, that is simply if you burn the candle, then you might have observed that yes, the candle is turning into solid to liquid and gas. Water and gas you will observe in this. That is what change in state. Okay, so suppose if you take any paper, then if you burn it, you will see there will be a change in the state. Understood? Like this, these 5 things, the main characteristics of the chemical reactions. Okay, all right. Let me move on to the very important aspect, that is chemical equations. How many types of chemical equations we can see? There are 5 types of chemical equations. Okay. So, on the basis of the products, how many products they are giving, okay. So, all those things on those basis we are dividing the chemical equations into 5 types. Okay. First one is chemical combination. Second one is chemical displacement or decomposition. I will take a decomposition. Third one is chemical displacement. Okay. Fourth one is chemical double displacement. Fifth one, that is reduction and oxidation. So, these are all chemical reactions. There are 5 chemical equations. If you ask me, and you may ask that, sir, all the chemical reactions will undergo only in chemistry lab? No. In our day-to-day life also we can see so many chemical reactions. For example, you see the formation of food in the plants, that is photosynthesis process, right? That is a chemical reaction. And milk gets converted into curd, that is a chemical reaction. Grapes juice converting into ethyl alcohol, that is also a chemical reaction. See, the digestion of food in our body is a chemical reaction. Cooking of food is a chemical reaction, right? Respiration itself is a chemical reaction. See how many, what not, right? How many examples you are seeing in the day-to-day life, that those are all the chemical reactions. Understood? Like this, the chemical reactions not only we will carry out in the chemical lab, even in the day-to-day life, our digested food or the digestion process, respiration process, these are all, even formation of urea in the liver, right? So, that is also a chemical reaction. So many examples we can give. Understood? Okay. So, let me move on to the chemical combination one by one. See, in this one, first I will write some example, then you yourself only can make the definition on this chemical equations. Okay. So, first one, chemical combination. Suppose carbon, when it reacts with the oxygen, gives carbon dioxide. So, I will take solid, gas gives gas. Okay. Right. See here, carbon monoxide, when it reacts with the hydrogen gas, see here, both are in gaseous form. Okay. These two will be compressed. These two will be compressed in a 300 atmospheric pressure and given 300 degrees centigrade in presence of zinc oxide and chromium oxide as a catalyst. You will get the product I will write here, methanol or methyl alcohol. See, okay, like that. Magnesium, when it reacts with the oxygen, gives magnesium oxide. H2 plus Cl2, 2HCl. So, in between you are writing some 2 like this. What is this, sir? That is chemical balancing, chemical reactions balancing. I think you people have studied already in your lower grade that law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass. That means mass cannot be created and not be destroyed. Here, the number of product should be equal to number of reactants. That means the number of atoms present in the reactant should be equal to the number of atoms present in the products. That is called as law of conservation of mass. So, we have to see this, that the chemical reaction should be balanced. Number of atoms present in the reactant side should be equal to the number of atoms present in the product side. Understood? Okay. See, I have taken some examples here. Carbon, when it reacts with the oxygen, gives carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide, when it reacts with the hydrogen, gives methanol. Magnesium, when it reacts with the oxygen, gives a magnesium oxide. Hydrogen, when it reacts with the chlorine, gives a hydrochloric acid. Hydrogen, when it reacts with the bromine, okay, gives hydrogen bromide. Okay, hydrogen bromide. Like this, just by observing these reactions, you will say, yes, sir, there are 2 or more reactants are there when they undergo a chemical process gives only one product. That chemical reaction is called as chemical combination. Okay, so you can make a simple definition on this. What is chemical combination? The 1 or 2 reactants undergo a process gives one product, that is called as chemical combination. I think you people have understood, and you can take so many examples. Go through the books, there you will find so many examples. Okay, all right. So next I will come to the chemical decomposition. It is very simple chapter, and there is nothing there in this. Okay, but very important, I tell you, for the next 4 chapters or for next 3 chapters, this is, you can take this as a step. Okay, next, chemical decomposition. I will take a calcium carbonate, and if I give a heat, I will get calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. See, what is this? You call it as a quicklime or a lime. Okay, so we use this one as a whitewash for the wall, isn't it? That also I will tell you. See, calcium oxide, when it reacts with the water, it gives calcium hydroxide. Okay, CaOH twice plus, yes, calcium hydroxide only. Understood? So this solution we will use for the whitewash purpose. We will take a brush and we will apply this on the wall, and if you leave for some time, see here, if you leave for some time, atmospheric carbon dioxide is going to react with it and forms a thin layer of calcium carbonate, which gives a shiny whiteness to it. Okay, that's why we are using this quick lime or a lime in a whitewash. Understood? Okay, so I will rub this, and uses simply I wanted to tell you that I told you already, and here only one reactant is there and getting two product. And I will take one more example for this. I will take FeSO4. Okay, 2FeSO4, and when we heat it, you will get FeSO4, Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. See here, one reactant is giving 2 or more products when we heat it. Okay, and if you take PbNO3 twice, you will get a PbO lead oxide plus 4NO2 plus oxygen. Okay, like this, a simple reactant, one reactant is giving 2 or more product. Okay, I will take few more examples. Here you just see here, this was the green color substance. When you heat it, you will get a brownish color substance product, and these two are the gases, they move up. And here also, when you heat this one, a white color substance is turns into a grayish color lead oxide. Grayish color, you might have seen the lead color, that is grayish or silver in color, right? So you can see that color in this one, whereas this one was white, because so many times it was asked, ferrous sulfate is a green vitriol. Okay, FeSO4 7H2O is a green vitriol. It is a crystal. Even it is also a crystal salts, crystalline salts. Okay then. So these are some examples that for the chemical decomposition is a reactant undergo a chemical reaction, gives 2 or more product, is called as chemical decomposition. Understood? I will give you some more examples here. You know that to split this one, to split a calcium carbonate, to break a calcium carbonate into a single one into more than 2 or 2 products, we have given a energy, that is heat energy. Here I am applying my energy to split it. Like this, if you want to split any substance, you have to provide energy. right? Here I am giving a heat energy. Okay, so like that I will take some more examples. Suppose if I take a water H2O, okay, there will be a diagram on this. They will ask you electrolysis of water. I will pass a current on it and we will get hydrogen gas and oxygen gas, right? Same like that only, you can take a sodium chloride and pass a current to it, you will get sodium and chlorine, right? And if you take a aluminium oxide, okay, all the highly reactive metals, you know that in the metals and non-metals already we have discussed that electrolytic decomposition or electrolytic separation. So this you have already studied in metals and non-metals, that this one, the aluminium oxide or alumina, a highly reactive metal, this is also we will separate it by the Hall-Héroult process. Means simply we will pass the current in this solution, you will get aluminium and oxygen. Okay, aluminium and oxygen. See here, for aluminium. Like this, we are giving a current to split one reactant into two products. And one more example I will give you here. Here I will give you, if I take a silver chloride and simply these are photosensitive, that means if I expose these one to the sunlight, they break into silver and chlorine gas. Earlier it was a white color product, when you expose it to the sunlight, you will get a silvery color silver. Okay, and one more example I will take here, that is silver bromide you will take. Why I am telling you this? Because this we were using in the developing the photofilms. Okay, so silver bromide, this also when you expose it to the sunlight, there also you will get a silver and bromine. Okay, so this we were using in the development of photofilms. Okay, right, now we are using high technology, that is chips are there. Earlier there was a, I think you people know that there was a photoreels, there we were using it. Okay, see, so many examples I have given for the chemical decomposition, that is calcium carbonate, that is limestone when it splits into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, the ferrous sulfate, or you can call it as a green vitriol, when you heat it you will get a iron oxide. A green color substance turns into a reddish brown color, and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Here this is quicklime, white in color. I told you the uses of this one also. And lead nitrate, here it was a white color substance, white color salt. When you heat it, you will get lead oxide, a little bit dull brown color substance, gray color substance. Okay, and water, when you pass a current in it, you will get a hydrogen and oxygen. There is a diagram on it, please see it in the book. You can see a very simple diagram is there, you can practice it, because it will take more time if I draw here. Okay, then NaCl and Al2O3, if you pass a current in it, you will get the sodium and chloride, aluminum and oxygen respectively. These two are once again the electrolytic decomposition, and here I am giving you the photolytic decomposition. Means what, sir? So to split any reactant, we are using the energy. Those energies are of three types we are using: heat energy, electric energy and light energy. So the products we are getting by using the heat energy to split a reactants, those reactions are called as thermolytic reactions or thermolytic decomposition. Here, yes, you are right, this is electrolytic decomposition, photolytic decomposition. Many a times a question will be asked, a white color substance when it is exposed to the sunlight, you will get a silvery substance. Okay, what is that? That is silver chloride, and when it exposed to the sunlight, because these are all photosensitive, you will get a silver. Understood? Okay then. So, sir, is there any importance of these decomposition in our day-to-day life? Of course, we are eating, see, we are eating the complex food. Carbohydrate we are eating in the form of starch, fat we are eating in the fat form only, and proteins we are eating, right? So, those are all in the complex form only. When digestion takes place, the decomposition process only we are seeing in there. Starch will be converted into simple product like glucose. Protein will be converted into simple product like a amino acids. Like that, fat will be converted into fatty acids and glycerol. See, a single reactant, even in our digestion process, single reactants converted into 2 or more products, that is called decomposition. Understood? So, that simple logic you remember, if a digestion is going on, that means a decomposition is going on in the body. Understood? Okay then. Let me come to all these things I think you have understood, and please do remember thermolytic, electrolytic and photolytic. Thermolytic means a heat is used to break or to split a reactant into 2 or more products. Here electricity as an energy we have used to break a single reactant into 2 or more products. Here we have taken light as a energy to break this single reactant into 2 or more products. I have one more very frequently asked question. I tell you why silver chloride, silver bromide, and one more thing, 2H2O2, it is hydrogen peroxide. When it will be exposed to the sunlight, then also it will give a water and oxygen, right? That means all these 3 will be stored in colored bottles. Give reason. If they ask you like this, simply you just give an answer that these are photosensitive. Understood? Okay then. So, I think this one is clear. Next we will move on to you can make a definition on this. Okay? What is chemical decomposition? A simple reactant splits into 2 or more products, that is called as chemical decomposition. I will come to the next one, chemical displacement. Chemical displacement. See, here I will take a copper sulfate solution and put an iron nail in it. You see here, we will get a product that is ferrous sulfate and copper. If you take a silver nitrate, AgNO3, plus if you put copper in this, these are all in the aqueous form, means which are there in the solution form. Remember it. We can call this as the aqueous, okay, aqueous form, right? This is solid. Here you are getting the aqueous and a solid one. Once again, see here you are getting copper nitrate, you will get a result copper nitrate and silver. This is aqueous and silver is a solid one. See what you are observing in this is a chemical reaction in that highly reactive element simply replaces the less reactive elements, that is called as chemical displacement. Okay. So, like this, so many examples you can collect, right? As you know, video drags more, that's why it will become a bigger video. That's why I am giving only 1 or 2 examples for the chemical displacement. You can take so many examples, right? And see here, I will take 1 or 2 examples. Let me take Na plus HCl. See, it is sodium is more reactive than the hydrogen. Simply it gives a NaCl and hydrogen gas, right? You take a 2 NaCl, 2 HCl, that's balanced. Like this, a highly reactive element replaces the less reactive element. That chemical reaction is called as chemical displacement. Okay, collect few more examples from your book, and it's very simple, and even the same thing we will study in the 2nd chapter and 3rd chapter also. Okay, right. Next one, chemical double displacement. Chemical double displacement. In this one, see here I will take silver nitrate solution AgNO3 plus you can take sodium hydroxide. Both are in aqueous form only. Okay, you will get, see, this is plus, this is minus, this is plus, this is minus. You will get silver hydroxide and sodium nitrate, NaNO3. This plus ion is going to add with this minus ion, and this plus ion is going to add with this minus ion. Means what? Here exchange of ions in a reactants. How the mutual exchange of ions takes place in the chemical reaction, that is called as chemical double displacement. Very simple. I will take one more example for that. Take NaOH and H2SO4. Okay, see here the product Na2SO4, right, and H2O you will get, this is minus, I am sorry, Na plus OH minus H2 and SO4 minus, you will get this result. Mutual exchange of ions in a chemical reaction, that is called as chemical double displacement. Mutually they will exchange, that is called as chemical double displacement. Okay, I think, and even few more examples are there in the book. Please collect. Only one or two examples I have given you. Please take a few more examples from the book. Okay, all right. So before I move on to this, reduction and oxidation, I simply want to discuss a few examples. For example, I take carbon dioxide 6CO2 plus 6H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus oxygen. Okay, plus 6 oxygen. Here we are providing a heat energy and in presence of chlorophyll. Okay, then a chemical reaction is going on, but it is taking the energy from outside to carry out this reaction. That means you can call this photosynthesis process is a endothermic reaction. This is a endothermic reaction. Even in the beginning also I told you some endothermic reaction. Okay, and that means photosynthesis is a endothermic reaction. Suppose if you take the same glucose C6H12O6 and mix the oxygen, that means a respiration process I am telling you, which is carrying out in all the living organisms, aerobic respiration. Okay, so it gives same 6CO2 plus 6H2O and heat energy plus chemical energy in the form of ATP. Okay, remember one glucose will give you 38 ATPs. Okay, that we will discuss in the life process. Okay, see here the respiration process which is giving out a heat energy, that means it is a exothermic reaction. Oh, okay, then you can come to know. Very good. So these are all kind of reactions: combination, displacement, decomposition, double displacement. But here we are classifying the chemical reaction on the basis of whether heat is evolved or heat is given out or heat is taken to carry out the chemical reaction. On that base, once again we divide the chemical reaction into two types: exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. Commonly if I say photosynthesis is a endothermic reaction, see we are providing the heat energy, and respiration is the exothermic reaction, right? Like that, all the decomposition reaction whatever we have discussed, that may be a photolytic decomposition, thermolytic decomposition or electrolytic decomposition, there we are providing the energy in the form of heat, in the form of light, in the form of electricity. Those all are endothermic reaction. Please do remember this thing. Okay, right. So this is what another type of chemical reaction on the basis of heat is evolved or heat is absorbed. Understood? Okay, then next we will move on to the last part, that is reduction and oxidation. Reduction and oxidation. See, what first I will discuss about the oxidation. What is oxidation? What is oxidation? Simply, suppose if you are adding a oxygen to it, that is called as oxidation, right? This, you know, from the olden days we are carrying out this, the definition that adding the oxygen is called as oxidation, first thing, or removal of hydrogen is called as a oxidation, or removal of electron is also called as oxidation. Understood? So what is oxidation? Adding the oxygen, simple. Suppose if I add an oxygen to it, see here, that is oxidation. Or removal of hydrogen, removal of hydrogen is also called as oxidation. Suppose if I take a sodium metal and add a water to it, right? See here, NaOH plus hydrogen gas is liberated, right? See here, removal of hydrogen from the water molecule, that is also a oxidation. Understood? Then you can write the definition, I think so. What is oxidation? Simply adding of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is called as oxidation. Or in the electrical concept, if you want to say, removal of electron is called as oxidation. Okay, that is, you know, little bit higher to you people for the 10th class. You will study it in the higher class. Okay, removal of electron or adding of electron, that is also called as oxidation and reduction. So next point, reduction, I will come here. What is reduction? Reduction, see here, simply copper oxide is there. Okay, if I add a hydrogen to it, see, it removes the water oxygen from it, becomes a H2O. Is it visible? Okay. See here, what is this? This is reduction. Reduction means what? Adding a hydrogen or removal of oxygen is called as reduction. Understood? Okay, then. So and even one more thing, adding the electron is also called as reduction. Okay, right. So where there is a oxidation reaction, there is a reduction also. That means in a chemical reaction, oxidation, see, and reduction, removal of oxygen will be there simultaneously. That reaction is called as redox reaction. Redox reaction. Okay. What is redox reaction? Reduction and oxidation both are taking place simultaneously in a chemical reaction, that is called as redox reaction. See here, copper oxide, which is reduced now, it is reduced. Okay, then you can call it as a reduction. Reduction is going on. Here it is oxidized. It is oxidized. You can call it as a oxidation. See, oxidation. That means you can see here, hydrogen is a reducing agent, means it is simply taking out the oxygen and itself getting oxidation. Okay, that's why I call hydrogen is a reducing agent. Of course, it is oxidized, but it reduces the copper oxide. It has taken the oxygen from the copper oxide. Okay, that's why if they ask you in a chemical reaction, if they give you such chemical reaction and ask you reducing agent and oxidizing agent, reduction and oxidation, simply these are the very simple marks you can make and say, yes sir, this is a reducing agent. Then which is the oxidizing agent? Which is having the oxygen here in the reactant? Of course, copper oxide is having the oxygen in it. Okay, so copper oxide will be the, don't say copper, you will lose the marks, always say copper oxide is a oxidizing agent. See, it is oxidizing the hydrogen. See, it is oxidizing the hydrogen. Understood? So that is what reduction, oxidation and reduction is taking place simultaneously. That's why we call it as a redox reaction. Understood? Okay, then I will come to like this. So many examples you can take. Okay, so many examples you can take. I will write one more example here. As we already taken sodium, when it reacts with the water, here you will get sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. This is also redox reaction. Hydrogen, when it reacts with the sulfur, you will get hydrogen sulfide. That is also a redox reaction. Okay, so removal of hydrogen and adding of hydrogen, both are going to happen. This is also redox reaction you can take. Like this, so many examples you can take for the redox reaction. Okay, so next we will move on to the importance of redox reaction. Importance of redox reaction in our day-to-day life. Why it is so important in our day-to-day life? Why? Because I tell you, in a oxidation reaction, suppose if you keep any oily foods outside to this atmosphere, so they simply react with the atmospheric oxygen and gives a bad smell, foul smell, and makes the food to unfit to eat. Okay, so that process we call it as a rancidity. So rancidity is the effect of redox reaction. Okay, so that means importance of redox reaction in our day-to-day life is, first one is rancidity. Rancidity. Okay, what is rancidity? Just as I discussed, so the oxidation takes place with the oily food and makes the oily food into unfit to eat, and it spoils its smell also, causes the foul smell, bad smell. Okay, so that is called as rancidity related to food. Second thing, suppose if you are you might have seen the rusting of iron. That is what we call it as a redox reaction of iron only, oxidation of iron only. There iron reacts with the atmospheric oxygen and atmospheric moist, gives a brownish color layer over it, that is called as rusting. Okay, so that we call it as a corrosion. Okay, all right. First we will see rancidity, how we have to prevent the rancidity. Simple. There are some antioxidants we can add to the food. Those are all BHA, butylated hydroxyl adenosine. Okay, so butylated, I will explain, I will elaborate it. Butylated hydroxyl adenosine, and next one butylated hydroxyl toluene. These two are the antioxidants. Antioxidants means what? Antioxidants. What are these antioxidants? A definition also you can make on this. Antioxidants are the substances which prevents the oxidation reaction, isn't it? So first one, adding the antioxidants to the food, prevention of rancidity, I am telling you, first one. Second one, simply adding the nitrogen gas, which is inert one, instead of oxygen, simply you add, you might have seen the chips and Lay's type of the packs. There you will find very less chips and more gases. That gas, what is that gas? That is nitrogen gas, which is an inert one. Okay, that also prevents the oxidation of food. Okay, so passing the nitrogen gas or keeping the food in the nitrogen gas. Third one, keeping the food in the fridge, freezing. Okay, freezing also you can say. If you keep the food in the fridge, that prevents the rancidity, right? So fourth one, expose the food to the avoid the exposing of food to the light, avoid the food exposing to the light. Fourth one. Fifth one, keep the food in airtight can so that no air should go inside. These all 5 preventive measures we can if we can follow this, we can avoid the rancidity. Understood? Okay, I think this is understood. And next I will move on to the next one, that is corrosion, last part. As I told you, eating up of metal surface is called as corrosion. That is also a oxidation and reduction reaction only. Okay, then how to prevent the rusting of iron, sir? Very simple. You know that we simply apply a paint on the iron substances. We simply galvanize it. We simply apply the grease or oil on it to prevent the rusting of iron. Okay, and these are all the methods to prevent the corrosion of or rusting of iron. Okay, so I think this is small chapter you people have understood. If you have any doubts, please go through the book, and I tell you, please, once you see this video and go through the book also, then you will become perfect in this, and no need to worry about the all these concepts which are present in first chapter. Once if you I once again tell you, please go through the book after seeing this video. Okay, so okay, then we will see the next chapter in the next video. Till then, bye bye, have a nice day. Okay.